Muslims that are facing discrimination, or whether she talks about environment, which is near and dear to our heart because we live in and we breathe the air outside. So let me mention a couple of few things, and I'll try to condense my presentation because many of people have already said what I wanted to. I just want to give you an update of NIAMA more than just talking in general terms. Specifically, could I, Nadeep, thank you very much. This point was emphasized before. NIAMA is an organization that is focused mostly on local issues. But local issues, as Steve O'Neill, who was a congressman or a speaker of the House from not far away from here, from Bloomington, said all politics is local because it does impact both globally and nationally. So we cannot minimize the importance of local politics. As I learned, about 60 to 70% of this expenditure is at a local level. All our lives are affected by local. So when we have local representatives, please make sure that you understand their position and support. Next slide, please. NIAMA is a political action committee. I want to differentiate this from the mosque and other places. It is allowed to contribute to causes that are important to them, including political people. Our mosques do not contribute directly to the thing. So when you are donating, which I hope you will, to this cause, you are donating purely for a political action committee. And that is very important. It's not a 501c organization. There's no restrictions in terms of who we support. We follow the law to the letter. And then I will skip this. It's a pack, I already covered it. I have to keep reminding myself what are the primary goals, because there's a lot of ways where we can divert our attention from keeping it focused. And our goal is basically, as mentioned, we need to get more active. As Amina said earlier, if we do not do it, nobody is going to do it for us. We have to stand. And we have the environment here. We have the freedom to do it. It's not like people are really pointing out to us as though this is a crime for politics, because it happens in many countries in the world. But we are privileged to be part of the US citizenship. Encourage Muslims to assimilate. Accommodation and assimilation are two different things. We can accommodate ourselves, we can go to parties and do all of those things, but assimilation means that you have to interact. We cannot pigeonhole ourselves to our own things. We have to really participate in what NIAMA is trying to do and encourage, support youth. I was very pleased to see the youth volunteers. We had almost about 30 or 40 youth volunteers today who are helping us. These are the leaders of the future. So please, we are going to emphasize this here later on. And last but not the least, we have to support candidates that have our values. I will openly say that in the election for state with Mary Edley Allen, Mary is a school teacher. She was supposed to come here. I don't know what happened, but she always makes it a point to come to our meetings. Mary was a classical example of what NIAMA could make a difference. What happened with Mary was, the person who was standing against Mary, and I will openly say this, in my opinion, was extremely biased against the Muslim. When I saw an article in her Facebook, an article depicting burqa-clad women and putting a title, "This is Muslim Fashion Show." And she had some really very objectionable statement, which was withdrawn, and Nancy can attest to that. We said, no more, enough. You take our taxes, you take our money, you ask for our thing, and you are openly biased in the United States of America, which does not allow this, morally it should not be there. We took a position and we supported Mary totally. And I can warn every bigot who stands in Lake County, we will go after you. We will not sit down, NIAMA will not sit down and take this anymore. Enough. Enough of the fear mongering, because we are good citizens and nobody should challenge us in terms of our sincerity to the country that we adopted by choice. We did this by choice, and we are as loyal, if not more. We should be called patriots for coming to this country and contributing to this country. We are the patriots. So I tell you, watch out. Watch out for those people who, whether it is Jewish hate group, whether it is superiority white group, whether it is Muslim white group, we are going to get you at the election through the ballot. Let's do this shit, and we will be elected. So what have we done so far? I won't read the whole laundry list, but we have done, I mentioned one example, and in that example you can roll over all the issues like go out to vote that we did, and so on and so forth. But civic responsibility, one of the things that Dan is obviously leading this effort, is to make sure that we have this Muslim leave of absence mandatory as a first step towards more understanding based on it. Let me move on. Next slide, please. I can pat myself on the back and say, hey, that was yesterday's newspaper. That was yesterday's news. What can we do now with the season of election coming up? To me, that is more important than patting on my back and saying, okay, we don't live in yesterday's world. We live in tomorrow's world and tomorrow's achievement. So what are we going to do in 2020? Let's move on. It's full speed ahead. While we are doing this, at the Eid, when I had the privilege of serving your community as the president of IFN for 6 years, I used to notice on Eid, how many people are coming? I got a list of saying, your executive board, you need to prepare for 4,500 people for Eid at Sports Center. I know people are there. I have seen some new faces today. People are there. We have about 7,000-8,000 easy votes, if not 12,000, 13,000 votes in Lake County. And elections are decided by a majority, very small majority, especially 200, 300 votes, so we can make a difference. We have very clear goals. This information will be posted on our website, so I won't go through all the details and breakdown, but we have to increase voter turnout. It is estimated that only 21%, maximum 21% of the Muslims voted. If the dog bites you once, it's the dog's fault. If it bites you twice, it is our fault. So my point is that if we have 21% of votes, and we have the potential to have 99% of the vote, the gap needs to be filled in 2020. Make an assertion today, please. Call 10 of your friends, not just your family, 10 of your friends, each one of you, say, have you voted? And we have started the campaign already. So please watch out for reminders. Elections have already started. Moving on to the next, increase voter turnout. I'm sure that if you go out to vote, I have full confidence in our community that you will vote for a morally good person. That's all I ask you. Morally good person who stands for principles. Next. We are in a honeymoon period right now, very frankly. We have to do something more concrete to make a difference. We have to not just verbally do this, we have to support the candidate by actually being volunteers, doing all the things that I listed to the best of my abilities. So we are going to do banks yesterday or day before. Haider got about how many people? 30, 25, 30 people as a phone bank for whatever. And they came and spent from 6 o'clock or 10 till 10 o'clock making phone calls. Every person should think of at least having one phone bank, get your people, serve samosas, baklava would be great, and bring people together. I will individually be asking every one of you, as many of you as I can, to have some activity in this area. So we have set up these goals. Can I have your commitment to meet the NIAMA goals, please? Yes? Yes. I need a bigger yes. Yes. So it's a joint issue for all of us. Let's move on to the next slide, please, Nadia. And I put down youth support. We are going to, with the help of some of our colleagues, we are going to have training sessions for youth very soon. And we will be training youth to take up offices and help elected leaders. A whole laundry list of ambitious goals, and God willing, we will fulfill those goals as much as I'm sure we'll do our level best to do that. Next, please. We need a strategic plan. We are working on a strategic plan, and by the end of first quarter, we will have a strategy on how we are going to do it. We used to do that at Abbott all the time when I had the privilege to work, and why not here? We have to have a strategic plan. And then next slide. I have to emphasize one thing, which I do all the time. You know, it is not only the responsibility of community, it's also a religious responsibility to be active. Climate change, women's rights, all of those things are religious principles also. Thank you. Finally, this voting is your right and your duty. I will just move on to the next important portion. How do we do it? We cannot do it without having any money. We just can't. So who has to provide the money? Every single one of you. Could I have the next slide? Our funding requirements each year will be close to about $50,000. That is our target. And where are these funds going? They are going, we don't have an office. We want to get an office. We work very, very hard, but there's only so much time everybody has. We need a full-time person to work with us. We need to train the youth. We need donations and candidate support, staffing and help, political events, which we have to candidate support and so on. So miscellaneous. There's one person who works behind the scene who really keeps everybody, me on the toes all the time, and that is our treasurer. I would like to invite Anas Ahmed to this stage. And I will ask him to please speak up. There is one request I have. You know, last week I had a problem in my car. Unexpected. I had to shell out $600 just to change tires. These are non-essential expenses or essential expenses. We have to make political involvement an essential expense. Put it in your budget and make sure that you give money openly. And I would trust that you will open your hearts, and I will give this microphone on to our treasurer, Anas Ahmed, who will invite some guests to talk to you about how we are going to achieve our goals. I want to again thank everyone for your presence. Please do wait for after dinner for a wonderful, during dinner, for a wonderful show that awaits us. You don't have to travel far and away to hear. We got the artists here rather than us going to them. So that's wonderful. Rohina will be performing later on. So thank you very much. I thank all the attendants, my board, the workers, the youth, and everybody else for making this a successful event. Thank you very much.